The L-15 Falcon, also known as the JL-10, is a supersonic trainer and light combat aircraft developed by the Hongdu Aviation Industry Corporation. It is utilized by the People's Liberation Army Air Force, PLAAF, as the lead-in fighter trainer, also known as the lift. The overall plan form, scale shape, and details of the L-15 are expertly captured in the 64mm EDF jet from Freewing models. The scale armament utilizes Freewing's latest sliding attachment method, making it a breeze to install or remove these scale details. And with its overall simplistic design, you can be flying in as little time as 30 minutes with this PNP version. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the L-15. Hello pilots and welcome to MotionRC.com. I'm your product specialist Wesley, and today we are doing the deep dive overview into the 64mm L-15 from right here at Freewing. Now pilots, this is one of the newer aircraft in our 64mm of lineups, and it's also the only one in a 6S option. Really a cool feature for this aircraft. Now we'll get into that in a little more detail towards the end of this video, but for right now, let me start showing you around the little L-15. So up on the nose of the L-15, you're going to notice that it is a magnetic nose cone right out of the box. This is a great feature because sometimes our customers like to stand up their models in the corner of the room. You can actually just pop this off, and there's a flat front end on the front of the L-15 to where you can stand it up. The other nice part is if you were to damage that front nose cone, you can just pop a new one on. We keep these in stock right here at MotionRC.com. So moving on past that, we come to the canopy of the L-15. What you're going to notice is this is held on with one push button at the top to where it will be locked in and secure for flight. But if you push that button and open the canopy up, you're going to see you have an ample battery bay. Now, this aircraft comes with the option of either a 4S or 6S versions. So if you're going to do two 3S 2200s, you have plenty of room in there to get those with your series connector. Or if you're going to be running one single 3000 to 2200 milliamp battery 4S, you still have plenty of options and room for that inside the aircraft. Now the wiring loom for this aircraft all goes up to the forward section of the battery bay, and you're going to see up in there you also have your EGL-1 gyro right out of the box. This is pre-programmed for the aircraft to be perfectly tuned and fly perfect right out of the box. If you want to use all the functions of that gyro, it has 3 modes. You need to plug that into any open port of your receiver and have it set up on a 3-position switch where you get -100, 0, and +100 as your 3-channel positions. The indicator on the EGL-1 will go through 3 different modes. Off, which means the gyro is not doing anything. You have green, which is your stabilization, and then blue, which is more of a recovery mode. Now, in the case of the 6S version like I have here, there is no thrust reverse to worry about, but if you get the 4S version, there will be a thrust reverse option. With that, you just plug the thrust reverse cable into any open channel and assign that to a 2-position switch with a -100 value and a +100 value. If it's reversed for some reason in the channel position you want your switch, just reverse that channel to make it run the right direction. So moving back from the battery bay, we're going to come to our first scale detail. You have this antenna on the back of the fuselage. That just simply keys in. If you want, I put a little bit of Freewing glue on that so it won't ever pop out in the future. You're also going to notice that the details, even for a 64mm aircraft, are really nice on this airplane. And all your markings are water slide decals that are pre-applied at the factory. I really like this change from stickers because the water slide decals really conform to all the different details around the aircraft, and they never come off. These things stick like crazy, so you're not going to have to worry about them blowing off in flight. Moving back once again, we come to the rudder of the L-15. What you're going to notice is that is screwed on with 4 screws. All the screws in this aircraft do use a 2mm Allen key. So when you're ordering your L-15, if you don't have a good Allen key screwdriver, we have one from MIP, we have our Benchcraft bands, we have a lot of different versions of these 2mm Allen keys They're gonna make your life a lot easier than using the little L things. Now, as we come to the aft section of the L-15, you're gonna also notice this has a full flying stab. Now, you're gonna hear us say that in a lot of our different aircraft, and it's a really big feature for a lot of our customers to have this. So just like the real aircraft, the entire stabilizer, also known as the elevator, moves on this aircraft. And that is what a full flying stab or full flying stabilizer actually means, is the entire elevator surface is going to move. It is ran on 2 independent servos, and somebody that's crafty and wants to do it could split the 2 servos into their own channels and run Taylor-ons. But as it comes out of the box, they're just set up to be into 1 channel and be elevators. Now at this point, let's flip the aircraft over and let's look at some of the features underneath the L-15. So starting up on the front of the L-15, we're gonna notice that the landing gear is actually a trailing link machine aluminum gear. There's a large spring on here to actually soak up the bumps. Now this is one of the best aircraft in the 64mm lineup for guys that fly off of grass strips and actually want to be successful flying off the gear. You're going to notice all the way around, the suspension on this aircraft is made to soak up some big bumps. It's going to really help this aircraft get off the ground smoothly and rotate. What you'll notice is this thing really floats across the ground on any kind of larger bumps because those gear can actually give and move out of the way when it hits a bump. Really a cool design on here. Now the other thing I want to mention about the landing gear is they are removable for guys that want to do hand launches. The front landing gear simply has a 2mm Allen key that you're going to loosen off, then pull it out of the aircraft. Then from the inside in the cockpit area, there's an L-shaped bar that you're just going to lift out. That's it. You're going to leave the servo in there hooked up and just do your belly land flights. But if you ever want to put them back in, it's super to pop that back in. So coming back to the main landing gear, you just pop off the little door covers. They actually pop out sideways. And then the whole landing gear can be slid out the side of the aircraft. So removing the gear and putting them back on is a super fast and easy thing to do. Now, while we're moving back to the main gear, the next thing I want to talk about is actually the ordnance on the aircraft. Now these are on the Freewing missile rail system, so if you want to pop them on and off between flights, you're doing belly landings and you don't want to tear them up, they simply slide off and are super easy to store during flights. While we also are on the wings, you're going to notice that the CG for the aircraft is embossed in the bottom portion of the wing. So when you're checking to make sure your CG is correct, it's as simple as putting your 2 fingers on the CG marks on the wing and then balancing it in front of you. If the aircraft sets level or slightly nose down, you know you're good for your first flights. While we're also talking about the bottom section of the aircraft, you're going to see your wing attachment points. Now this is a smaller aircraft, so most customers are not going to need to take the wings on and off once they get it assembled at home. Now, for any customers that actually do need to remove the wings, it's super simple. There's 2 coarse threaded 2mm Allen key screws that are going to need to be removed. Then slide your wing half off. The carbon spar is installed in the wing, but there is 1 multi-function control board to take care of both the flaps and the ailerons. So if you do need to take it apart, it's no big deal. Now, as we move back a little bit further, you're going to come to the fan access hatch. Underneath that, in the version we're looking at today, is a powerful 6S 2949 2300 kV brushless in-runner motor. And powering that motor is a 50 amp brushless ESC with XT60 connector. So at this point, let's actually go over some of the specifications of the 2 models and what they actually come with. So for the 4S version, it's going to come with a 2840 2850 kV outrunner motor with a 40 amp brushless ESC and thrust reversing. This is going to also use the XT60 yellow style connector. The recommended battery for the 4S version of the L-15 is an 1800 milliamp to 2600 milliamp 4S 14.8 LiPo battery. The 4S version is also going to include the scale landing gear that are plastic cladded. The L-15 uses 8 of our 9-gram servos from Freewing pre-installed in the aircraft, so you don't have to do that. For the 6S version of the L-15, It uses the powerful 2949 2300 kV in-runner motor with a 50 amp brushless ESC and an XT60 connector again. The 6S version does come with the upgraded machine aluminum suspension landing gear though, right out of the box. The 6S version uses the same quantity of servos. There are 8 of our 9-gram Freewing servos installed in this aircraft for you. But the recommended battery for the 6S version is 2 3-cell 1800 LiPos to 2600 LiPos using a series adapter available right here at Motion RC. Now, one of the other big differences between the two versions, as far as the tech specs go, the 6S version only needs 5 channels, whereas the 4S version will need 6 channels. The reason for that is the thrust reversing. Like I said, 6S version will not have thrust reversing, whereas the 4S will have thrust reversing. Well guys, if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you're new to MotionRC.com, we have great video content just like this that comes out every day here on MotionRC.com. And until the next time, whether it's air, land, or sea, you can get it right here at Motion RC. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.